Hey, Bellator Nation, follow us across a large array of digital platforms and stay up to date on everything you need to know. Like us on the Bellator Facebook page and see exclusive videos. Follow us and get instant updates on Twitter at Bellator MMA and get a chance to have your tweet live on the broadcast. See amazing pictures on Instagram at Bellator MMA. Join Bellator Nation today.
Bellator Middleweight Championship.
The dreamcatcher, Gegard Mousasi, has cemented his storied legacy. Now, the legendary reigning middleweight champ defends his title in a 5-round MMA battle.
Mousasi ground and pound.
When he faces suffocating submission specialist, John Salter, who's won 8 of his last 9 bouts in the Bellator arena. Bellator MMA, live tonight on Showtime, where warriors rule.
Good evening, Bellator Nation. Welcome to Bellator 264. 2 weeks ago, we came off one of the biggest nights in Bellator history, the finals of the Featherweight World Grand Prix, where we crowned a new champion in A.J. McKee. Well, we packed up our production trucks and we headed back east to return back to the Mohegan Sun Arena for another world title fight. Now, tonight, 6-time world champ and MMA royalty Gegard Mousasi will put his middleweight title on the line when he takes on the #1 contender in John Salter. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome in. I am Jen Brown, and joining me at the fight desk tonight, a guy who really needs no introduction. Everybody knows who you are, but Josh Thompson, former 2-time world champ, but a new face. Austin Vanderford, our #2 ranked middleweight. He's also undefeated. Excited to have you joining us tonight.
I'm pumped to be here.
It's going to be great. Okay, first, before we get to the fights, we got to ask. Notice you have a little brace there on your arm. You okay? What's going on?
Yeah, small little training injury, but a couple weeks and it's off, and I'm ready to rock.
Love it. Well, I know tonight you're going to have your eyes on our main event. He will be facing the winner of tonight's middleweight championship fight. So how do you think these two guys match up tonight?
Man, I think John honestly possesses the skill set to beat Gegard, but I think it's going to be a little tougher tonight. Gegard is such a, he's got a wide array of skills, and it's going to be a tough one for John.
Josh, I know we've talked about these guys extensively. John Salter told us, I've been preparing for this fight for 5 years. What do you think? Do you agree with his assessment that this is Mousasi's fight to lose?
No, I don't. Yes, I do agree. It is Mousasi's fight to lose, but we have seen Mousasi take some guys for granted. He does kind of settle in on the bottom sometimes and just concede that position. Well, I don't think he's going to do that tonight. After interviewing him for our podcast on Weighing In, he talks a lot about how he's motivated for this fight. He wants to prove to everybody that his loss to Lovato Jr., when he had fought him, he settled in on the bottom, and he didn't take him until the 3rd round to warm up, and he finally got on track, and he almost was able to get him out of there. So, look, I'm looking for a lot of great things out of Gegard tonight.
Well, he said we are going to have an exciting fight tonight. That's one thing he guaranteed to us inside our fighter meetings this week. All right, well, for more on our main event, let's bring in the rest of our announced team tonight, Big John McCarthy and Mauro Ranallo. Mo, we're in for a good one tonight. What do you think?
Yes, we are, Jen. Thank you very much. And, John, it's hard to believe that 15 years ago, I was in Japan calling Pride Fighting Championships, met a then 20-year-old Gegard Mousasi who debuted in one of the renowned Pride Grand Prix. It was his 15th professional fight. One of his 2 victories in Pride was against a guy who would become the inaugural Bellator middleweight champion, Hector Lombard. But I still can't believe that both of us are still here, and not only still here for Gegard Mousasi, but about to make the first defense of his 2nd reign as a 185-pound kingpin at Bellator. His longevity is incredible.
His longevity is amazing when you're taking a look at the sport of MMA and what it takes to participate in this sport, and then doing it for almost 20 years and doing it at the highest level, always competing against the very best there is out there. That's what makes Gegard so amazing. Take a look at the takedown here. This was a championship fight when he first won the Bellator middleweight championship. That was him against Rafael Cavallo, and he just dominated the fight. Then quickly, his 2nd time, the title was free. Both Douglas Lima and Gegard going after it, but Gegard was the one that was able to control the fight, able to put Douglas down, use good ground and pound. He has got the complete game, and that's what makes him very dangerous. His stand-up is great. His ground is amazing.
The reason the Bellator middleweight title was vacated was because Rafael Lovato Jr. had health issues, was forced to relinquish the title. Lovato, the only man to beat both Gegard Mousasi and the #1 contender, the challenger tonight, John Salter. And Salter comes in a proven finisher. He's reeled off 3 consecutive wins. We know him as a slick submission artist, but the fight starts in the stand-up.
It does start on the feet, but John Salter is one guy. When you're talking about a guy that's been able to meld his wrestling into a different form of getting people down to the ground and then using the jiu-jitsu that he has established basically as a style of his own, because he does things differently. He's a guy, you know, every fight he goes into, there's a finish. There's only been one time out of all the fights he's ever been in, only one time has it ever gone to a judge's decision. So John is a finisher. He's a guy that goes in there and he does not try to control. He tries to get you out of the fight, so he stays safe, and he's very good at it.
Intriguing matchup for the main event. The Bellator middleweight championship will be on the line when Gegard Mousasi defends against the #1 contender, John Salter. 4 fights complement the feature attraction. 2 of the hardest-hitting welterweights on the planet collide as former Bellator champion Andrei Koreshkov takes on the #10 ranked Sabah Homasi. #3 ranked bantamweight Magomed Magomedov squares off with #4 ranked Rafael Stotts in a bout holding major title implications. We'll also see undefeated heavyweights #7 ranked Davion Franklin and Everett Cummings collide. And we will begin the night on Showtime at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific with a middleweight matchup between KO machine Ty Gwerder and the Bellator debuting Haji Bestayev. And we kick off the first of our 3 prelims here at Mohegan Sun Arena. It's a contract weight of 195 pounds between Orlando Mendoza and John McNeil, both fighting as professionals for the very first time.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to the cage, John McNeil.
Nashua, New Hampshire's John McNeil making his walk to the Bellator MMA cage for the first time, and as we just said, for the first time as a professional fighter. He turns 31 on August 31. And you can file his pro debut under the better late than never department. He went 3-2 as an amateur with 3 finishes, 2 via form of knockout, 1 submission. And he's been training for a long time despite this being his professional debut.
Well, he has been training for a long time. He's been training out at Joe Lozon's and other places. You know, sometimes things just don't work out the way you expect them to, and you end up having to make choices, and that professional career that you wanted to start early just doesn't happen. But now's his chance. He's got a stage that he gets to go and show Scott Coker, the president of Bellator, this is what I'm made of. It's like an audition all in the making.
And he predicts he will either knock his opponent out or submit him.
And now, his opponent, Orlando, the Syllable Cogs Mendoza.
The smile of a fighter making his very first walk as a professional mixed martial artist. Orlando Mendoza taking it all in, fighting out of Bronx, New York by way of Venezuela, wanting to plant that flag for Venezuelan mixed martial arts. He went 3-0 as an amateur with 2 knockout wins. And of course, John, he'll want to avoid the Mendoza line when it comes to his winning percentage. If you know, you know.
You know. You take a look and, you know, again, this is a pro debut, and there's so much as far as pressure on both these guys, because this is a walk they've never made, Moro, as a professional, under big lights. Now, amateur shows, a lot of times, there can be 10 people, 50 people, maybe 100, but not a lot. And it starts to now become real when you're stepping in that cage and you look around, you go, oh my God, what have I got myself into? Well, we're going to find out real quick.
The bright lights of Bellator MMA await Orlando Mendoza as we look at the tail of the tape for our first fight of the night.
Our tail of the tape for this contracted weight. You can take a look, pro debut. That says everything. Both of these guys are going to go out there and put it all on the line.
With the official introductions, here is Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be back, and it's good to see you here tonight with us live in Mohegan Sun Arena as we get set for the Bellator 264 prelims. We'll welcome those joining us live, streaming tonight's fights on YouTube at Showtime Sports and Bellator MMA as we kick off the evening now with 3 5-minute rounds at a contract weight of 195 pounds. Introducing first the blue corner at 6'3", weighing in 195 pounds even, making his professional debut. He fights out of Nashua, New Hampshire, presenting John McNeil. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 6 foot, weighing in 194 pounds tonight. He too makes his professional debut by way of Venezuela. He fights out of Bronx, New York, Orlando, the Silver Fox, Mendoza. And the referee in charge, Todd Anderson.
Both athletes receiving a nice round of applause, both with their supporters in attendance here, the early arrivers at the Mohegan Sun Arena. John McNeil wants to celebrate his 31st birthday early. Orlando Mendoza hoping to strike first, strike last, and strike most effectively. And instead, it's McNeil that opens the fight up with a striking attack, taking Mendoza down.
Nice job of using pressure going forward, force Mendoza back. He's in a bad position already. That arm triangle is almost set in. He's just trying to get his leg free. If he can get that leg free, come to the side, he's going to be able to put a lot of pressure on that choke.
McNeil is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, putting the squeeze on Mendoza early.
Even from the mount position, there's a lot of pressure here. Now he's able to get his arm free, so he's free from the choke, but now he's in mount. If you're in your pro debut and you're John McNeil, it doesn't get any better at the start of your career than this.
And if you're Orlando Mendoza, conversely, it doesn't get any worse.
That's exactly it.
And Mendoza looking to reverse, but McNeil staying strong in top position, drops an elbow. Mendoza desperately trying to neutralize the offense as McNeil appears to be setting up another arm triangle attempt.
He's searching for that arm triangle, but you got to make sure that you get it set right before he decides to make that move to the side. Mendoza being able to oop his way out, changing that balance point, so McNeil had to let go.
Ground and pound from John McNeil as Mendoza trying to buck him off, trying to create a reversal. Instead, he gives up his back. So from the arm triangle, McNeil may try to go for a rear naked choke.
McNeil did a very nice job of getting his hips back down towards Mendoza's hips. That kept him in position because he was high.
And he's got his full hooks in now, looking to extend Mendoza's body. Under 3 minutes left in the first round. It's been all John McNeil following an early takedown.
It has definitely been all John McNeil. He just needs to settle down, take his time, figure out how am I going to get these arms in the position I need around that neck.
And of course, with all of the jitters, the butterflies that come with making your pro debut, especially here under the bright lights of Bellator MMA, it's up to McNeil to display that patience, John, that composure, especially in a grounded position like this.
Absolutely. When this is what I'm talking about. When he first walked in, I said, look, this is an audition. What you're trying to do is show that man across the cage from us, Scott Coker, hey, I can fight, and I am someone you want to sign. That's what this is all about. Mendoza doing a nice job. At least he's keeping that knee shield up inside. Looking for the heel hook right now. Does not have it.
So two hungry athletes, despite Mendoza being on the receiving end of ground and pound and being on his back the
fishing for Smith. John McNeil needs to be very careful about keeping his head past his hips. His hips should be before his head so he does not get up kicked.
Mendoza representing the Bronx Combat Club, while McNeil trains a team KTA MMA and Karasu Tengu Academy. A minute and a half remains in the opening round.
He's got that arm triangle set again. Take a look at those strike stats right now. McNeil 14 of 35, 1 of 3 for Mendoza, and that's because it's hard to punch someone when you're on your back.
And the majority of those strikes help set up the takedown.
Absolutely.
Coming up on the final minute of the first frame, John McNeil continues to work from top position, drops some elbow strikes. Mendoza trying to defend, but unable to reverse his fortunes here. Under a minute left.
He's doing a good job, but most of these are not landing cleanly on him, so it's a good job overall by Mendoza.
All it takes is one.
Yeah, it does. And that one right there hurt. You can see where his hand came up to protect himself. Starting to turn his back again. He needs to be careful about giving that back.
30 seconds left in the first round. Ground and pound from John McNeil.
Mendoza needs to continue to move. Active hips will at least upset the balance of McNeil, just like you saw right there.
His hips were active, and now McNeil working from Mendoza's back. Hammer fist to the side of his head, to the ear. 10 seconds left. John McNeil's first round as a professional mixed martial artist couldn't really have gone any better.
Not at all.
Nice and easy up, boys.
Beautiful. How you feel? That's it. You see? That's it. That was a beautiful job. That was a beautiful job, yeah? Hey, set up the hands. Hold the hands and go for your elbow. That's good. That's beautiful.
Here was the takedown right off the start. Throwing punches, throws the left, the right, come back with the left, and then just drops the level. Not the most technically perfect that you're looking for, but definitely got the job done, and then the ground and pound started. And this is where Mendoza at least tried to intertwine the leg, went for a heel hook. It did not work for him. You see McNeil just landing big shots. And this right here, this is where McNeil needs to be careful. That face sticking up. He tries the up kick. It just misses the head, glances off him, and then big elbows from the top.
Good work.
Ready, fight!
The bell in round 2, Orlando Mendoza, the red gloves, John McNeil in the blue gloves. It's part of my contract, so I have to ask the question, how did you have it on your unofficial scorecard, the opening round?
That opening round is no doubt a 10-8 round for John McNeil, but what Mendoza needs to do now is say, okay, that round's gone. I survived it, so I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. Now let me get back to fighting my fights. Don't fight my opponents. If it is a stand-up game that he wants to fight, then keep this on the feet and start throwing punches and kicks to give McNeil a problem.
The southpaw McNeil putting some pressure on now, using a lazy left hand to set up the level change into another takedown.
Yeah, McNeil right now, he's just bulldogging Mendoza. He's just bigger, stronger, and he's able to, when he wants to, he comes into him and is able to just physically control the body, bring him down.
Inside bicep! Inside bicep! Overhook! Overhook! Inside bicep right!
Mendoza trying to use a half guard. He needs to get that far side underhook. You see him with an overhook on the forearm. That is not going to help him. He's got to change that. Now going back towards going to a full guard. He gets McNeil into full guard.
Yeah, McNeil trying to posture up while Mendoza hopes to neutralize his attack from bottom. McNeil has that left hand momentarily free, dropped a couple of shots before. Mendoza now trying desperately to just neutralize the attack, but he has to find a way to escape this predicament.
Well, you see him, he's got the overhook on the left side, and then he's trying to use that knee to control the left arm that McNeil's been using to try to drop hammers down on him.
Here we go.
Mendoza's got to get in his mind, I cannot sit here and accept having my back on the canvas. If you're not throwing up submissions that can actually have effect and change this fight, you need to be thinking about getting yourself back to your feet.
Square back up, square back up, square back. There we go, baby. There you go. Beautiful. Keep that head on the center. Follow his hips. Follow the kick, though. Beautiful work.
You know, Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel from his back, but he didn't have John McNeil on top of him.
No one was punching him in the face. The Sistine Chapel would have looked a lot different if he was getting punched. McNeil's just...
Meanwhile, McNeil wants to turn in his own Michelangelo masterpiece in his professional debut, continues to control Mendoza, and yet he needs to also improve his position from top position and go back to what he had early success in that opening round, going for the arm triangle submission, but working from the close guard of Mendoza.
And what you say, exactly what you saw in the first round, he was trying to improve that position. He was switching from half guard, getting into full mount. All those things were great positions that he was attaining. This right now, he's starting to accept the guard. Now he's landing punches now and then, but this eventually could mean that the referee could come in and stand them up based upon you're not improving to a better position.
You know that Mendoza's trying to telepathically send that message to the referee. Our referee, Todd Anderson.
90 seconds. 90 seconds.
Nice little chopping elbow forearm strike by McNeil. What McNeil really needs to do, though, you see his head down on the sternum area of Mendoza. That is when you've got no real power or anything. He's got to start to posture up and bring heavy shots down. That's what's going to make Mendoza have to move.
Final 60 seconds of the second. Mendoza now opens the guard, overhook over the right arm of the southpaw McNeil, but McNeil unable to get much on track in terms of offense from top position.
And when you're seeing Mendoza then close his guard again, he's the one that's actually holding on to McNeil, so he's not trying to get out of the position. He needs to open that guard, either go to a butterfly or go to something as far as an elevator or something to try to at least reverse the position or get his feet on the hips so he can get McNeil off.
Thus far in Mendoza's professional debut, the elevator's only gone down.
It's okay, there's another round.
One more round remains as we head into the home stretch. And McNeil wanting to become more offensively optimistic, but we're headed to the third and final round.
Easy, boys. Good work.
Okay, give me this, listen. You need to, when he does, if he does take you down again, I want the overhook inside bicep frame, scoot out to that same side. We can't let him have the two arms to hit, okay? Remember, overhook, inside bicep frame, climb your legs up. But let's just stop him from taking you down this time. That's all he wants. He's gonna throw, he's gonna rush forward and sling and take down. That's all he does. We're gonna have to.
If he don't come hook, you don't have to go into the fight like she coming. And we have to take down again. We square the hip. Let's go to the half guard if we have to, yes?
Open up, jab.
That jab is good.
Up, up.
Number three.
Ready, ready, fight!
Third and final round. Who will emerge victorious in their professional debut? Will it be Orlando Mendoza in the red gloves or John McNeil in the blue gloves? How do you have it on your unofficial scorecard after 10 minutes?
Unofficially right now, I have this fight at 20-17, so that would say that Mendoza needs to finish John McNeil if he wants to get a win. Either that or have one incredible round.
That's the beauty of mixed martial arts. It's possible.
It is possible, but with what he's doing, it's not going to
likely not.
He needs to, attack in listening to his corner. His corner's
right left and a right hand. Sorry, John, as McNeil landed with a position.
He did. His corner's telling him, you know, you can't get taken down. That's great. But you're not telling him what to do not to get taken down.
And McNeil now beginning to pick apart Mendoza in the stand-up. Front kick with the breadbasket, the feint.
At least right there, you saw Mendoza at least take the steps back. He's circling out. That at least says he's thinking about what he's doing. That's going to keep McNeil from being on that linear attack coming straight in.
And there's the level change, and yet another takedown for John McNeil.
McNeil's corner was very, very good in their instruction. One of the things they said, don't stay in his guard. I want you to pass to at least a half guard because he's going to be much more dominant in that position.
McNeil 3 for 3 in the takedown department.
Well, if you're McNeil and you wrote the script for your first fight, you couldn't have written much better than what's happening.
That's it, John. Beautiful work. Calm down. Calm down. Gravity time. Gravity time.
Heavy hips down. John McNeil getting on top. He's got the ability to do a lot of damage right here. He needs to not stop his attack.
Yeah. That's it. Doing the side control.
Under 3 minutes left here in the final round.
Beautiful work.
McNeil now working from side control, trying to land those left hands. Mendoza trying desperately to just control posture, trying somehow to force a stand-up, but he is in dire straits here with McNeil in cross-side position.
Well, especially with cross-side, you see that underhook, that right arm underhook under the left arm of Mendoza. That's keeping McNeil, and that's how he got the mount.
And now, midway point of the final round, McNeil dropping elbows from the top. Mendoza trying desperately to somehow get McNeil off his back.
Mendoza's in a lot of trouble here. Now he's spent a lot of energy already, and he's been beat on for 2 rounds. It is not the same as far as getting yourself out of these positions.
Coming up on the final 2 minutes of this fight, being contested at a contract weight of 195 pounds. And McNeil started the fight looking for the arm triangle, trying to finish the fight with an arm triangle.
He was searching for it again, but let go of it. He could feel that Mendoza was looking to bump and upset his balance points, so he decided, I'm just going to go back to mount. Let me start dropping hammers.
Some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail, and in his professional debut, Orlando Mendoza spent a lot of it getting nailed to the canvas with the takedowns, and McNeil continuing to deliver offense, a slashing elbow across the face, John.
Yeah, that one hurt right there, and you could see Mendoza react to it. He's taking a lot of abuse right here. Referee Todd Anderson's not going to let him take much more.
Is referee Todd Anderson going to give John McNeil a memorable 31st birthday gift? He does! In his professional debut, John McNeil stops Orlando Mendoza in the final round. Happy 31st birthday on August 31st. What impressed you the most about the neophyte mixed martial artist?
You know, I'm impressed by both, and I know that sounds strange, but what you got to look and say John McNeil did everything that he was supposed to do. Got great positioning, used good, smart, striking at the time when he's on the ground. Here's the big takedown. This was the one in the 3rd round. Look at the head. He needs to drive forward a little more. Gets him to the ground and then move to a better position like his corner told him. And then at the end, you can see, look at Mendoza has no way of stopping the attack. Now he's just becoming a punching bag. Nothing coming back. He's just trying to hide. And that's why referee Todd Anderson stops the fight.
Teaching moment for Orlando Mendoza. What would you like to see out of this fighter here?
Orlando Mendoza, the one thing you got to say is this guy came in here, he is tough because it's hard to be the nail, okay?
Yeah.
It's easy to be the hammer. It's tough to be the nail, and he never gave up. He just systematically got beat to the point he couldn't protect himself anymore.
So 2 fighters who have now realized their goals of becoming professional mixed martial artists, and for John McNeil, a good first impression for Orlando Mendoza, an opportunity to go back, study the film, make the necessary adjustments, and come back hungrier than ever. Let's make it official now with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, referee Todd Anderson steps in, waves off the contest due to unanswered strikes. Official time, 3 minutes, 57 seconds into round number 3. The winner by TKO, John McNeil.
Let's go to Big John McCarthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with John McNeil. John, if you were going to script the perfect pro debut, you couldn't have written a better script than what I just saw right there.
Yeah, that would take it out. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was hoping to do. Come out, use my jiu-jitsu. I knew my strikes to stand with them, but at the end of the day, I wanted to use my submissions. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, so that's what I did.
You kept hunting for that arm triangle. In the first round, you went for it a couple of times. You actually almost went to it again in the third, and you decided, no, I'm not going to do it. Tell me what you were feeling and why you said it's not going to work.
I was a little high. Each time I got on it, it was a little high. I know the feeling, the sweet spot right when you're on it, and I wasn't on it, so went to something else.
You've got a birthday coming up. Going to be 31 years of age. Is this what you want to continue to do? Fight MMA in the Bellator cage?
I would love to continue to do this. A dream.
Well, I want to wish you a big congratulations on a pro victory in your first fight. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, John McNeil.
Following an impressive professional mixed martial arts debut, you bet John McNeil can have his birthday cake and eat it too. Let's go to Jen Brown.
Going to be celebrating tonight. Well, thanks, Mauro. Hey, we've got a fantastic fight card coming up your way on Showtime at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. A title is on the line when 6-time world champ Gegard Mousasi defends his middleweight belt against the division's top-ranked contender in John Salter. And in our co-main event, Andrei Korshkov is making his long-awaited return to the Bellator cage. Now, the former welterweight champ will face dynamic knockout specialist Sabah Homasi. And for more on how these two match up, let's head across the pond to Bellator's London office and check in with Gareth A. Davies.
Andrei Koreshkov faces Sabah Homasi tonight in what promises to be an explosive contest between two of the hardest hitting welterweights in the world of mixed martial arts. Former Bellator champion Koreshkov, a 9-year veteran of the fight organisation, has notable victories over the likes of Douglas Lima and Benson Henderson, but has slid out of the rankings in recent times. Still just 30 years of age, though, the Russian has an all-round armoury and is always dangerous. Homasi, meanwhile, brings heavy hands and puts it all on the line in every contest. He carries 10 of his 15 wins by knockout and will look to bounce back from a knockout loss himself to Britain's Paul Daly just 4 months ago. Victory for Koreshkov would likely mean a place back in the top tier, but it could be a case of who explodes or even who implodes first between the Spartan and the Punisher. Don't blink when the bell rings for this potential thriller at 170 pounds.
Well, that's good advice right there. He said, don't blink, and that is so true when these two enter the cage tonight. So let's talk Karatana first. He's a former Russian, Korshkov, thank you. Korshkov first. He's a former Russian champion, right? And he's so dynamic. He's so explosive. He's known for those highlight reel knockouts. What makes him so dangerous, Josh?
Well, you brought it up. His spinning attacks, his ability to land big shots, but all the things he does very well, he mixes it up. The one thing I can say about him being a former champion is he can mix it all up. Flying knees, as you see against Benson Henderson. Also, all the other things he does, the spinning back kick, the side kicks. He has finishes in almost every facet of this sport with submissions as well. But I just want to be honest. Tonight, well, sure, he's going to have to use his stand-up and his flying attacks and his spinning attacks against Homasi to get the win. But it's not just that, Austin. It's going to be his wrestling, I think. And you'd be better suited to talk about that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think using his spinning attacks and being unpredictable with his striking to set up his wrestling would be good for him.
Well, let's talk his opponent tonight, Homasi. Josh, you said in order for him to win tonight, he needs to fight smarter. What do you want to see from him tonight?
Austin, how can we see Mousasi fight smart? Talk to me. You train with him. You know him.
I do, and I pound in his head, man. Just be smart with your striking. Touch him up. Use that calf kick, and I think he's got a good shot at putting Andre away.
Yeah, what he possesses the power. We've seen it in a lot of his fights. Okay, boom. He's got the one crunch that so many people wish they had. I wish I had that when I was fighting for 20 years. I never had the power that someone like him. He possesses not just the flying attacks, not just the power in his hands, but he is dynamic. He also will utilize his wrestling if that gets him to the win as well. We saw him use that against Curtis Millender as well. So I think he has a lot of things that he brings to the table to get this win over Koreshkov.
This is going to be an exciting one. Really looking forward to it. All right, well, that's our co-main event coming up later tonight on Showtime. But now let's go back down cage side for more fight action. Mo?
All right, thank you very much, Jen. We get set for a fight at a contract weight of 142 pounds. Jeffrey Glosner and Sebastian Ruiz both looking for their first victory in Bellator MMA.
And now ready to make his way to the cage, Sebastian El Gallo Ruiz. Now making his way, Jeffrey Glosner.
25-year-old Jeffrey Glosner fighting out of Crofton, Maryland. The southpaw, who is 2-2, and both of his victories have come by knockout. So what are the odds that this turns into a grappling exhibition? Well, there's 2 knockouts.
This definitely, if you're Jeffrey Glosner, you want it to turn into a grappling exhibition. You know, his first fight in Bellator, he fought a guy that I think is part of the future of the sport, and a guy named Jalen Bates, who is just good everywhere. And Jeffrey Glosner is a guy his stand-up is good. His ground game is actually outstanding, and he knows that he has an advantage in that against Sebastian. Can he put the fight there? That's the question.
Remind me to never ask you to put on a Japanese necktie. Too painful, just as Glosner found out at the hands of Jalen Bates. Let's go to the 4-1-1 for this matchup here again at a contract weight of 142 pounds.
Take a look at this. 2 and 3. Look at the age. Both young. They're young in the sport. The advantage of Ruiz with that 72-inch reach. We'll see if that actually works for him in the stand-up game.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Those joining us tonight from the UK on BBC iPlayer, we thank you for staying up late with us here at Bellator 264 for the prelims, where we go to fight number 2, set for 3 5-minute rounds at a contract weight of 142 pounds. And now first, introducing the blue corner. At 5'9", weighing in 141 3/4 pounds. His professional record 2-3. Originally from Lima, Peru, he fights out of Newark, New Jersey, Sebastian El Gallo Ruiz. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'8", weighing in 142 pounds. As a professional, he's 2-2 from Severn, Maryland, presenting Jeffrey Glasner. In charge, your referee, Mike Beltran.
Veteran official Mike Beltran will oversee our second preliminary matchup here at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut. Sebastian Ruiz at 23, Jeffrey Glasner's 25, and we begin with Glasner in the red gloves, Ruiz in the blue gloves. Southpaw Glasner walking down Ruiz. Ruiz gets countered with a left hand.
Nice job by Glasner. Ruiz doing a good job. He started moving to his right. He doesn't want to move into the power of Glasner. He's going to be better off if he's moving to his left like you see right now. Nice job by Glasner to cut that cage off. A lot of guys start to follow. He's not following. He's actually stepping in front and making him stop.
And Ruiz attacking the lead leg and then going upstairs with a kick and showcasing some serious hand speed as he lights up Glasner with that right down the middle.
He did, but Glasner did hit a beautiful left to the body.
And he just hit him with a left knee. 1 minute has elapsed here in the opening round, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. As Ruiz continues to move to his left, following the advice of the sage Big John MacArthur. And there's a kind of a left knee kick there by Glasner.
Oh, wow! That was a big left hand landed, and it was more off balance by Glasner going down, but it was power that put Ruiz down.
Glasner splitting the guard with a straight left. Glasner putting it on Ruiz. Ruiz changing levels, giving up his neck as Glasner looks for the guillotine.
You always know when the guy who is supposed to be the striker is now going for the takedowns. Things are not going well for him. Nice guillotine. That is deep. He's got that locked in well. He can use his legs, control. Nice job of Ruiz to pop his head out.
Ruiz was submitted by a Darce choke in May of 2018 against Jesse Arnett, and from bottom now, Glasner looking for the armbar.
Glasner did a beautiful job of getting his hips around there, sticking with that armbar. You should know that it's not there.
So Glasner looking for his first submission as a professional mixed martial artist. Now controlling Ruiz's posture momentarily.
Not only controlling the posture, look at where he keeps the head of Ruiz. It's down. That makes it very difficult for Ruiz. Bringing up the triangle. Doing a nice job of just switching his attack. He's got a high guard. It's not a triangle right now. It's not doing any kind of choke, but if he can, what he wants to do is grab that shin and start to lock that leg down, but he's got to break the posture of Ruiz.
And Glasner delivering hammer strikes, hammer fists and elbows from the bottom. Now the rubber guard. Very flexible.
He's trying to lock that in. You see the angle that he's got. It's where that arm is across. He's going for the arm bar with it. Take a look at the arm being stretched. Glasner doing a good job. Nice job by Ruiz fighting through it. And see that space. He does not have it tight right now, so Ruiz is not really in a tight choke.
And Ruiz dropping hammer fists on Glasner's face. As Glasner putting the squeeze on Ruiz.
He's to lock it down and squeeze his knees together. That's going to be the difference. And put his hands on the head, control, and squeeze that together. He can also take his arms and wrap them by his leg and squeeze with his arms. That will intensify that choke.
Under a minute remaining in the first round. Is Sebastian Ruiz going to survive it?
You can see Ruiz is in trouble. That's why he's going to that position. He does not want to end up underneath Glasner. Right now, that cage is keeping him from going all the way over. But it's also keeping Glasner from being able to get the squeeze that he wants with his legs.
And now Glasner again from his back on the triangle. And the hammer fist from Ruiz, desperately trying to stay alive in this fight. 15 seconds left in the first round. And Ruiz escapes.
Nice job, Ruiz escaping. This is when you look at Glasner. Don't just stop because it didn't work.
Well, and Ruiz isn't stopping as he punches to the final bell of the opening round. Sebastian Ruiz feeling himself after escaping some pretty tight squeezes, courtesy of Jeffrey Glasner.
He can put his hands up, and that looks great. He can say, look at me, I'm still alive in here, and he is. But he definitely did not win that round. But a nice, tough effort by Sebastian Ruiz to stay in this fight. Look, here comes that. This was what started. Bink right there. But Glasner goes down off of that bump of the head. It wasn't that it hurt him, but he was off balance. Ruiz is the one that took the big shot. Here he goes when he sets up the arm bar. Goes for the arm. You see he's got it in place. Ruiz is able to get that elbow pass. Turns outside. He's lost it at that point. Then he locks up the triangle. Goes for the triangle. Never gets it in place where it's really tight. Sebastian's able to work his way out and land some ground and pound at the end.
Yeah, Ruiz making the most of the limited time he had in top position in that round.
Second round. You ready to fight? You ready to fight?
It'll be interesting to see the legs and the movement of Glasner based upon having that triangle and the squeeze. You never know exactly how hard he's squeezing with his legs.
Ruiz just backed him up with a right hand and a right kick. And Ruiz pouncing on Glasner. Glasner, though, ends up again in top position out of the half guard of Ruiz. So a scary moment for Glasner early, but he turns it into an advantage.
Actually, turns it into a very good advantage because Sebastian overextended, came in too far, and that's why he ended up in this position.
Glasner is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt. He went to Edinburgh University in 2014, but was unable to wrestle due to his grades. Of course, in MMA, we've had fighters like Josh Koscheck and national champ Gregor Gillespie at Edinburgh University, who became pro mixed martial artists.
Very outstanding school for wrestling. Take a look right now. We've got a choke that's taking place. Right now, he's trying for a dart, but he's not in position with it. Sebastian's not in a bad spot, and Glasner understood it. That's why he lets go. Tries to go to something that's going to work better for him. That nice little grab of the cage by Sebastian Ruiz. If you ain't cheating, you're not trying.
All right, Jesse the Bonaventura. Ruiz with some short knee strikes to the leg of Glasner. Glasner pinned up along the fence. Minute and a half gone here in the second stanza. First round belonged to Jeffrey Glasner. Ruiz looking to get back into this scrap, attacking the lower extremities before Glasner goes for the takedown and secures it again.
Nice body lock, takes him down. I think Glasner's gotten a little bit of his second wind back now. We'll see if he can try to improve this position.
Officially, Glasner is 2 for 2 in the takedown department and had his moments in that opening round looking for the fight finishing submission.
Right now, Glasner's in a position he could pass this half guard. It is wide open. There is nothing really stopping it. Now he's trying to go towards a lockdown to keep him there. Nice shoulder pressure by Jeffrey Glasner. He's just using his one arm with his shoulder to control the head position of Ruiz. That's going to keep him on his back.
Glasner told us that his power, his wrestling, and his jiu-jitsu would be his biggest advantages in this fight. And here we are with 2:20 left in the second submission. He went out on a limb and said he would finish this fight via third-round submission.
Well, that's why he hasn't finished yet. He wants to be right.
He wants to be like Mystic Mac, as Sebastian Ruiz trying to fight off the attack of Glasner. What does Sebastian? Well, I mean, Glasner all over Ruiz's back.
He's got him with where he's got that arm. He's in trouble. Ruiz is controlling that locking arm that's going to keep him in the fight, but it can still get tight, even with one arm.
Glasner looking for his first submission win, looking to hand Ruiz his second defeat via submission, and Ruiz caught in that rear naked choke attempt, although trying to alleviate the pressure, but
going palm to palm, that's going to give him some strength there. Now that he's going face down, that's not a good thing for Ruiz. He's trying to build his base up, but he's got to protect his neck while doing that. He's okay right now.
A minute 15 left in the second. Ruiz not panicking, trying desperately to escape and forces Glasner to break the grip momentarily. Glasner looking to stuff Ruiz. Ruiz looking to gain some dominant position.
Glasner was looking for a switch there. He was not in position to get it. That was a nice knee strike by Ruiz to the body.
Ruiz rocking Glasner with the knee. Under a minute left in the second.
Again, double unders right now.
Glasner's corner calling for the outside trip.
Where he's at with the double unders, he has control. Now he's lost the double unders, but he had control of the body, and that's when you can take him and push him one side or the other, using your leg to stop his leg.
Glasner's taking Ruiz down twice.
Dropping levels. He does not have his hands together, though. That's not an easy thing to do from that position.
And now it's Ruiz looking for a guillotine choke.
Yeah, he's not in trouble right now with this one.
And time will become Ruiz's biggest enemy next to positioning.
Glasner is sitting there too much. He's trying to relax, but don't let the position get to the point where now his weight's on top of you.
So after a spirited second round, how do you have it on that unofficial scorecard of yours? And did you spill coffee on that unofficial scorecard?
I did not spill coffee because I don't have any coffee. I need coffee. Well, you know, right now I have Jeffrey Glasner is winning this fight, but Sebastian made a big change from the first round into the second round. He needs to continue that type of.
What was the big change?
He was able to land good shots. He got to position. Watch this shot right here. Oh. That beautiful right hand. That's a big change in the fight, because when you, all it takes is one shot will change this fight. When he's going after, you see Glasner going down. Now, again, Sebastian overextended, went in too far, got in a bad position, but eventually worked his way out.
The bell in round 3. Jeffrey Glasner in the red gloves out of the southpaw stance. Sebastian Ruiz in the blue gloves. Last time they took an L, tonight they're looking to bounce back. Who will win their first fight in Bellator MMA? There's a left hand delivered behind the guard by Glasner.
Nice deep front kick to the body by Ruiz.
And Ruiz talked about his kicks being a factor, but when you are taken down twice in 3 attempts, you'll want to rethink about delivering kicks, right, John?
Yeah, absolutely. You can bring him up high, but Glasner is very good at seeing that kick when it's coming down low. He's good at taking his hand close to it.
That'll change, but instead it's Glasner snatching the neck of Ruiz.
He needs to control that leg. If he can control that leg, that's tight. Nice job of coming up on top. He's got a good chance of making this work, but he needs to feel exactly what Sebastian is doing. He'll know if he's got this choke or not. I do not think it's going to work. He's right now just needs to control the position, settle himself down, and get back to doing what he was doing before with his ground and pound.
Glasner's corner calling for the knee on belly position to keep him where he's at.
Right
you
now,
agree, John?
No, I don't. Not right now with his feet on the fence. You put your knee on the belly. It's going to be, he's going to use that fence to bug you off because you have a lot of weight that's up off of him. It makes it easy for him to get that weight moving towards the center of this cage. Right now, you see that hand still in place, but that choke is not He's not even squeezing on it right now, but he's trying to hold it to where he thinks he can get the position and make the choke work.
Do you hear that beautiful music to our ears? A convivial atmosphere here at Mohegan Sun Arena. They've broken out into song as we watch Jeffrey Glasner look to put the finishing touches on a submission.
He's switching it into a Darce choke right now. Knee on belly right now. That's what he's going with. Still has his arms locked in that Darce. What he needs to do is just start to center his weight down on top and just continue to put pressure with it.
And it was a Darce choke that led to Ruiz's first loss, and first loss via submission.
Notice how high his hips are, Morrow. Take a look at where he's at. He wants to settle his weight down on his opponent. He's bringing his weight up, which is making the choke not as strong.
And Glasner putting a lot of pressure on. Doesn't want to tire out his arms in search of this Darce choke.
This is what will happen right now. He's holding on to it. He has that position, but he needs to settle his weight down on top of his opponent.
And he's right in front of us.
Starting to take that, starting to push that, hips down.
And he was looking directly into your eyes there for a moment, BJM, as Glasner's looking for the submission.
I almost didn't want to coach. I'm like, I don't want to say it.
He predicted a third-round submission. Is Jeffrey Glasner's vision going to come to fruition, or is Sebastian Ruiz going to survive? Ruiz back to his feet.
Nice job by Sebastian Ruiz to remain calm, get himself back to his feet. It's a nice high crotch position for Jeffrey Glasner. We'll see if he can take it back down to the canvas. The elbows right there by Sebastian broke that grip.
Jeffrey Glasner's 25, Sebastian Ruiz 23, both of them very much in the embryonic stages of their professional mixed martial arts journeys.
Jeffrey Glasner back to having double unders. He's got a good body lock. He can take him either way depending upon what he feels as far as the positioning of Sebastian Ruiz's balance and weight.
Final 45 seconds of the fight. The level change by Glasner, looking for one final takedown. He's 2 for 3, while Ruiz is 0 for 3 in the takedown attempts, and now Ruiz matching the neck, but the big takedown by Glasner.
Big takedown by Glasner, and right now he's in a position with where that arm is at. He can go into a Von Flue choke, but he needs to free up that left arm. If he frees his left arm, gets his right arm underneath the head and neck of Sebastian Ruiz, he'll be able to control it. Now he popped his head out.
While Jeffrey Glasner's prediction may not come true, even though he is again going for a submission, a fine performance for Jeffrey Glasner.
Absolutely.
And for Sebastian Ruiz, again, there are losses in life, but if they are teaching moments, if they are learning experiences, then they will benefit you down the road. And by the way, he's only 23 years of age.
Absolutely. When we talk about this, obviously he wants to win the fight. But you either win or you learn, and there's a lot to learn from this fight when he goes back and watches it. And there's a lot of things that he did that were really good. And one of the things he did is he relaxed inside of the cage. He did not let positions bother him, and he kept fighting. That was a very nice job by Sebastian Ruiz.
And of course, there are people out there who are going, wait a minute, you told us he's 2 and 3 at 23. Could have very well just lost his 3rd consecutive fight. What do you mean he still has a future? Well, mixed martial arts, unlike my other favorite sport, boxing, losses happen, and losses do not penalize the fighter. It is a part of their career, a part of the journey. And I remember Mirko Krokop, the decorated striker from Croatian Pride, once saying, if you have not lost, you have not fought anybody.
Exactly, and that's really what you're looking at. Is right now, obviously, Sebastian Ruiz is not happy that he knows he's not going to get the win, but he did a lot of good things in there. Are there things for him to improve on? Of course, and that could be the difference in getting the win next time.
Meanwhile, for Jeffrey Glasner, who went after submission, was 0 for 6, but came close to picking up his first submission victory. We await the judges' scorecards. Again,
differences in fighting in a cage, and you saw the body positioning of Glasner with Ruiz. A lot of times that cage is going to change the ability of that submission to work based upon you being able to elevate your body above the canvas. That's what Ruiz did.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we go to your three judges. Your first judge, David Hagan, scores it 30-27, while judges Dave Peabody, Mike Murtha, both see it the same, 29-28. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Jeffrey Glasner.
Jeffrey Glasner picks up his first win in Bellator MMA, improving his record in the promotion to 1-1. He's now 3-2 overall with a decision victory over Sebastian Ruiz, who is now 2-4 and 0-2 in the Bellator MMA cage. Let's go to Jen Brown.
Well, thanks, Mark. Tonight we have a fantastic bantamweight matchup between the third-ranked Magomed Magomedov and fourth-ranked Rafion Stotts. Now, both fighters are treating tonight as a #1 contender fight with hopes to face the champion, Sergio Pettis. So lots on the line heading into this one. I know both guys up here at the desk with me, Josh and Austin, are super excited for this matchup. So let's start with Magomed first. Austin, what is it about that Dagestani style of Sambo wrestling that makes him so dangerous?
Well, it's their understanding of positioning and how to be heavy, but also when they get their hands locked, as we've seen with Magomed before, you're probably going for a ride.
When we talked to Rafion Stotts this week, Josh, he said, I'm comfortable fighting wrestlers. He says, I understand that style of fighting, right? He says, I don't mind going to the ground with him. I'm curious, do you think, given his speed and reach advantage on the feet, should he be looking to keep this fight on the feet?
Absolutely, but everyone says they're okay with wrestling a Dagestani until they have to actually wrestle them. And they realize, like Austin said, it's too difficult. So look, absolutely he's got to keep on the feet. He's got a little bit of a reach advantage. He's got the speed advantage. And I think obviously on the feet is where his advantages all lie. Why get into that mix up on the wrestling? Well, you don't have to.
Well, both fighters are coming in with a very impressive win streak. Rafion Stotts has 8 straight wins, 5 for Magomed Magomedov. I know you guys have said this could be fight of the night. Why should fans be excited about this one?
I think we're going to just see a lot of exciting scrambles. They're both great grapplers. I think Rafion, it'd behoove him to use his wrestling to keep the fight standing and use that explosiveness to maybe get a knockout.
This will be the most technical fight tonight in that cage. And I cannot wait to watch it happen because, like he said, 2 ferrets grappling around on the ground. We're going to see that. We're going to see some explosive work on the feet done by Rafion Stotts as well.
All right, looking forward to that one. All right, that's coming up later on Showtime. Now let's head back down cage sides for more final fight for our prelims here, Moro.
All right, Jen, thank you very much. Former Invicta featherweight champion Pam Sorensen making her Bellator MMA debut against Roberta Samad, who is also fighting under the Bellator MMA banner for the first time. Let's go to the tail of the tape for our final preliminary bout.
Right now, take a look at that reach, 63.5 compared to 68. That's a big advantage for Roberta.
With the official introductions, here's Michael C. Williams.
Tonight here at Mohegan Sun Arena from the Bellator 264 prelims, we'll go to the featherweight division set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner.
Thank you.
At 5'8", weighing in 146 pounds, in her Bellator debut, she brings 5 professional victories, 1 defeat. Originally do Brazil, she fights out of Columbus, Ohio, Roberta Crush Sama. And across the cage, her adversary out of the red corner at 5'6", weighing in 145 3/4 pounds. As a professional, 8 wins, 3 losses, fighting out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, Pam Sorensen. In charge, your referee, Kevin McDonald.
Kevin McDonald is the referee. Roberta Samad actually made her Bellator debut way back at Bellator 146, November of 2015, losing via unanimous decision to former Bellator featherweight champion Julia Budd. The bell, round 1. It is Pam Sorensen in the red gloves, Roberta Samad in the blue gloves. Overhand right by Sorensen to introduce herself to both Samad and the Bellator MMA audience. Effective start by Sorensen.
Bam Bam Sorensen's got a real active wrestling background. She likes to get to fight the ground, but she's going against a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, someone that really likes being on the ground, so she might want to use her wrestling to keep this on the feet if she feels comfortable there.
Sorensen has made her intentions clear, coming to Bellator, hoping to one day face off with Chris Cyborg, the current featherweight queen here in Bellator MMA.
Be careful what you wish for.
There's a counter right hand by Samad.
Very nice right hand by Samad, that landed cleanly. That's why you see Sorensen backing up right now.
Samad putting her punches together, knocking Sorensen off balance before pinning her to the fence. Body lock by Samad, smothering Sorensen against the cage. Knee to the belly by Samad.
Very nice job. Samad working out with Matt Brown, a guy who you talk about being very aggressive in the clinch, big elbows, big knees. If she learned anything from him, she's going to be dangerous there.
You're not a fan of fighting if you're not a fan of the immortal Matt Brown. Low. 2 minutes gone here in the first round.
Right now, very good clinch game by Samad. That was some nice knees. You see her using the shoulder strike. She's just using a dirty boxing type of game, even though it's not punches. She's using the clinch to land strikes that's just going to degrade what Pam Sorensen's able to do later on in the fight.
Midway point of the opening round, and Sorensen has her back stapled to the fence by Roberta Samad, the 33-year-old who is 5-1 overall as a mixed martial artist before separation is created. Samad coming forward.
Keep that center. Control the center.
Sorensen with notable victories over Caitlin Young, Jessica Rose Clark, and Nico Montano.
Sorensen has had a very good career. A lot of her fights in Invicta. She's just that grinding style. She never stops. She keeps on coming forward.
There's Samad who tags her with her left hand. Both of them are coming off victories again. Sorensen in her first Bellator MMA fight, while Samad returns after nearly 6 years away from the Bellator MMA cage. 1.5 minutes here left in the first round.
Take a look at those strike stats right now. Samad 16 of 30, 12 of 52 for Sorensen. So Sorensen trying to be more active, but she's just not being near as accurate.
Sorensen gets dropped. Sorensen coming forward with the jab, but not having much of an effect on Samad, who continues to march forward.
Samad needs to really take a look at when Sorensen throwing that kick right there. She keeps backing up. That kick has no power, and she should take advantage of it and land a counter strike. That left hook coming in is going to do a lot of damage if she can time it right.
It was in 2015 when Roberta Samad made her Bellator MMA debut, the same year that Sorensen started her pro MMA career. Sorensen 8-3 with 1 knockout and 1 armbar submission on her resume. Samad 5-1 with 3 knockouts and 1 RNC as they jockey for position along the cage.
Samad with double underhooks right now. She's got double unders. That's a very good position for her to now use those knee strikes, or if she feels Sorensen's body weight going in direction, she can bring it down to the canvas.
Knee to the head from the front headlock by Sorensen. Elbow strike across the jawline as we go to round 2. How did you adjudicate that opening round, Mr. Unofficial Score?
Unofficially, I have Roberta Samad winning that round. She landed the cleaner shots. There was the heavier shots overall.
You got to get it more. You're bigger, you're taller.
Right now I have her ahead.
You're faster. You got to get that jab working. I need rhythmic motion and jab, and I need footwork, rhythmic motion, and jab. We work on that. That's what we just warmed up with. We do it in the gym every day, right? Give me a ring. You're going to throw more jabs this round. Your weight, you lost that round. You know that?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, you lost that round. We can't afford to do that another one. So I need you starting out with it, pushing off the back foot, single and double jabs. Go at this fucking girl. Okay. Fucking go at her, jab, right hand right behind it. Let her feel your shit, okay? All right.
Seconds out, please. Seconds out.
Samad throwing right hand straight down the pipe. Sorensen returning with a left hook. And then Sorensen right near the end of the round. Big elbow strike. Lands. Doesn't have a lot of power on it, but it landed clean. Good strike by Pam Sorensen.
Round 2 of our final preliminary bout. Bellator MMA on Showtime coming up at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Gegard Mousasi defending the Bellator middleweight championship against the #1 contender John Salter in the main event. We begin round 2 here with Pam Sorensen in the red gloves. Roberta Samad with that spinning back fist that grazed across the top of Sorensen's nose.
Keep going. You don't like it. Just go. Nice. Go it, Bernie, go it. There it is.
Get let go. There you go. Get let go.
Let's go it again. Here's the right hand.
Too fast. Pop, pop.
Right hand.
Nice right hand counter by Pam Sorensen. Samad just needs to really start getting off. She's starting to throw that jab, but then she stops. Got to commit to it.
Sorensen's thrown more punches, but it is Samad who has landed more.
Keep chopping it outside. Go. Get it up.
Punch stats right now, 19 of 47 for Samad, 5 of 67 for Sorensen. Now you did hear Samad's corner tell her she lost that round. I like that from her corner because he doesn't know, and he's saying it's a close round. Nice shot.
Sorensen looking to close the distance, connecting on the face of Roberta Samad.
You're always better off telling your fighter, I think you lost that round, to make them go out and realize, hey, I got to fight.
Oh, and Sorensen with the right hand has some swelling along the bottom of the left eye of Samad. And there's a stiff jab by Sorensen, splits Samad's guard.
Tuck your chin, jab, double jab, everybody.
Two minutes gone here in the second. Sorensen coming forward, but there's the counter jab by Samad.
Samad really needs to start taking advantage of that reach advantage that she
Yes.
You know, she's sitting there, she's letting Sorensen control the range. Don't let her control it. You take over. You're the one that has that longer reach.
Yeah, 4.5 reach advantage for Roberta Samad as we near the midway point of the round and the fight.
Go more. Go. Overhand low. Good. More down. Keep your effort. Good.
Sorensen nails her with the jab. Misses with the wild right hand. There's a solid left hand from Sorensen across the cheek of Samad, who switches momentarily to southpaw before going back to orthodox.
And right now, it's just the activity of Sorensen. She's throwing more, and she's starting to land more because Samad is just not giving her a lot that's coming in her direction as far as offense.
Sorensen has thrown a total of, well, over 100 punches, starting to show an uptick in her efficiency. Starting to definitely land more here in the second round on Samad. Samad has had enough of the striking of Sorensen, would like to take it to the ground.
Sorensen's good enough in the clinch. She keeps on framing out, which is pushing the head of Samad back. That's causing her problems and being able to think about getting that takedown.
Samad told us her ground game is her best overall fighting strength. She wants to implement a good mixture of different styles and wanting to utilize her size, her wrestling, and her ground experience, having little opportunity to do so except for her size in this fight.
Yeah, well, right now, you know, if you've got a great ground game, that's awesome. But if you can't get it to the ground,
and she's being tagged in the stand-up by Sorensen here in the second.
She is. Pam Sorensen's doing a nice job, even with the shorter reach. She's stepping inside and landing the counters.
And meanwhile, Samad keeping her at bay momentarily with the long jab, but Sorensen closes the distance and aggressively trying to create separation.
Nice job by Sorensen to push on the hedge, trying to bring the knee up. Samad, she should have brought her backside. She had a chance of getting her to the ground, wasn't able to do it. Nice job by Pam Sorensen to maintain her position up against the cage and not allow Samad to take down.
Stop! Clean break.
Right now, looking at this, I think this is an even fight. I know that Samad's corner told her she lost the first round. I think she actually got it on the scorecards. And I think that Pam Sorensen started to take over this fight. I think right now, going to the third round, it's anyone's fight.
Couple big deep breaths. I want you to clear your head. This is the last round. I need some action out of you. Okay? Your weight, when you use it, it's there. It's there. Quit waiting.
Finish with the right hand. Okay? When you get her against the cage, too, you press her, you got to stay low. Keep your knees bent. She got...
Pam's. This was the spinning back fist. It actually connected against the cheekbone just a little bit at the end of the glove there.
Seconds out.
Sorensen coming after her. Left hand touches nicely. Pam Sorensen has done a good job of controlling the distance of this fight, not allowing the range of Samad to take over. We'll see who takes the third round.
35.
Final round underway between Pam Bam Sorensen, the former Invicta featherweight champion, in her Bellator MMA debut against Roberta Samad, returning to Bellator after nearly a half dozen years in search of her first victory in the Bellator MMA cage. And Sorensen more active, but Samad able to pick her off with strikes coming forward.
Samad coming out with a jab, landed a couple of jabs, then a right cross. She needs to just sit down and commit, popping that jab out there, take her head off of the center line. When she's throwing it, her head is staying right on that center line. That's allowing Pam Sorensen to counter her and make her strike land.
It's allowing Pam Sorensen to mark up Samad's face as Samad was looking for another spinning attack.
Go now.
You can see how that jab of Pam Sorensen is starting to really puff out the right eye of Roberta Samad.
Go, Birdie, go. Yes, go.
Nice left hand by Samad.
Now go again. Now go again.
Again, where she just, you saw her back up there. There was no reason to back up. She needs to step to the side and throw a counter.
Especially here in the third round with 3.5 minutes left. It's time to put the pedal to the metal, uptick in offense, try to score the effective blow. And she talked about having the advantage in the wrestling and ground game. Well, has not even been able to secure a takedown. 0 for 4 in the takedown department for Samad.
Well, you got to give Pam Sorensen credit. She's got a good wrestling defense.
And she's got a good striking game here in the third round, although she got countered effectively by Samad's jab. But it's going to take more than pot shotting. It's going to take more than single shots, John.
Yeah, it does. You know, it's going to be multiples. It's going to have the effect on either one of them here. Pam Sorensen, she's landing cleaner shots as far as they're straight.
And as you mentioned earlier, Samad continues to keep her head on the center line. And really unable to take advantage of that reach.
Punch stats right now is Samad 50 of 125 now, 28 71 for Sorensen. Now Samad's finally gets this fight where she said she wanted it. Let's see what she can do from this position now.
A black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a brown belt in Luta Libre, which Nogi. Under 2 minutes left in the final round, and she does have one submission win, a rear naked choke that came in her second fight back in June of 2013. For Sorensen, she has been submitted via rear naked choke. That came against Felicia Spencer back in November of 2018.
Felicia Spencer has a very good ground game, so that can definitely happen. Right now, you see Sorensen utilizing the guard, trying to control the posture of Samad. Samad needs to control those biceps and start to break past this guard. There you go, when she's starting to posture up. Sorensen going to a high guard.
Elbows from the bottom. Under a minute left in the fight.
Right now, although you're seeing Samad being in the top position,
where's the sense of urgency?
Exactly, that's the whole thing. She's got to get this going. You got to figure, I need to win this round to possibly win this fight.
Meanwhile, Sorensen continuing with that high guard, delivering some irritating strikes from the bottom, controlling the wrists of Samad.
Samad now in a place where she can control her position. She tries to slice inside.
Now control by Samad.
But only 22 seconds left. She needs to really open up.
Sorensen active from her back, active hips, but Samad looking to go to mount. Being defended by Sorensen, and our final preliminary bout of the night is headed to the judges' scorecards.
It's going to be a question. We'll see which way the judges go on this one. This is one that I would probably bet. We're going to see what they call a split decision.
So Pam Bam Sorensen in her Bellator MMA debut. What impressed you the most about her overall game plan in this fight?
You know what I really liked about Pam Sorensen is she was the one controlling the range, even though she is not the bigger fighter. And you saw that Roberta Samad was able at times to utilize that jab, but then she would stop, and she definitely needs to start practicing getting that head off the center line, because she's getting countered when she should not be getting countered.
Bellator MMA looking to add depth to the featherweight division, looking to add some meat to the division in hopes of, again, we have Kat Zingano, of course, knocking on the door of a title opportunity, and now Pam Bam Sorensen and Roberta Samad would have loved to have put their names in the proverbial hat, but based on tonight's performance, John, not ready for prime time?
Definitely not ready for prime time, not with those performances. You got to go out there and you got to be impressive. You got to go out there and say, and make someone like the President Scott Coker go, oh, I want to see you again.
You talked about a split decision, and with the time ticking away, usually that means you're probably right, sir. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your three judges at cage side. Your first, Dave Turelli, scores at 29-28. He sees it for Samad. Your second judge, John English, 29-28 for Sorensen. Your third and final judge, Jacob Montalvo, scores at 29-28 for the winner by split decision, Pam Bam Sorensen.
Just as Big John McCarthy said, a split decision. Former Invicta featherweight champion wins her Bellator MMA debut. Pam Bam Sorensen moving to 9-3. Coming up at the top of the hour, live on Showtime, it is Bellator MMA, the main event. Gegard Mousasi begins the second reign as Bellator middleweight champion, defending the title against #1 contender John Salter. Bellator MMA on Showtime, live at 9/6 Pacific. championship.
The dreamcatcher, Gegard Mousasi, has cemented his storied legacy. Now, the legendary reigning middleweight champ defends his title in a 5-round MMA battle.
Mousasi ground and pound.
When he faces suffocating submission specialist John Salter, who's won 8 of his last 9 bouts in the Bellator arena. Bellator MMA, live tonight on Showtime, where warriors...
The new Bellator MMA app is here. New look, new features, new fights. Watch live weigh-ins and prelims. Share your fight picks. Earn points and badges as you rank up to the heavyweight division. And stay up to date on events, rankings, and news. For all of the latest features, download the new Bellator MMA app. Available on the Apple Store and Google Play.
Around the guard, immediately. He's not playing guard with Kendall Grove.
Not a whole lot you can do when someone's inside control like that.
And immediately Salter takes the back of Kendall Grove.
This is a guy who, in between fights, took the U.S. Abu Dhabi trials, most prestigious no-gi grappling tournament in the world. He's the American rep. That was in between fights. That's how good he is, going hard for the rear naked.
That's impressive.
Can't see how deep it is from here.
Kendall's not in a good spot there, but that's for certain.
He is not. Now both hooks in.
It's over. John Salter wins his 6th straight and records his 10th victory via first-round knockout or submission.
And look at this transition. One hook in, and I'll let Meathead take the finish.
You know, it was absolutely beautiful. It's a great setup. He was patient. He didn't rush anything. He just wanted to get his hands on him, go ahead and touch him. That's all he needed. As soon as he got on Kendall's hip, everything was over from that point on.
Great point, Jimmy, on Herb Dean, because he's very content in the work of John Salter. He knows what's going on.
He does. Salter now all over Justin Jacoby. Once again, both hooks in. Rear naked, he's got it.
That is tight, that's under the chin. Herb Dean taking a really close look, and there's the tap. A cool, calm, efficient victory for John Salter.
Salter on top, good hip pressure, dominant position, and was able to get the rear naked choke, that arm underneath the chin. Too much pressure for Dustin Jacoby. But physically, the positioning, the pressure, this is where he was the entire fight.
I really rate Dustin Jacoby.
Conversation of title, though. We've got a guy over in the UK named Fabian Edwards. Absolutely phenomenal, undefeated, the brother of Leon Edwards. The pedigree runs in his family. He's a hard worker, explosive, does everything right. Stylistically, I think he matches up really well with everyone. So you got Fabian, you've also got Van Steen, is very young, very talented, gave Salter a run for his money. I think also, too, that's a learning experience for him. That title contention there is good.
It is all over. He got it. He got the finish, John, right when you were talking about it. Little moment when he got the mount, you saw Capel trying to set him up for that bump. Couldn't do it. Now he gets that arm triangle from a mounted position, but it's been so much time that Andrew Capel has been underneath him. He's exhausted.
As soon as we are done here on Paramount Network, we're back to the zone. Bonus coverage. We just completed earlier tonight the deepest, by far, best prelim card in Bellator history. Some post-limbs coming up, including the veteran Gerald Harris. Tune into the Bellator app as well. So many options. Salter looking to take the back, and he gets the hooks in quickly. And he has got that in